What's up, people of the world? It's Selena, and I got another video for you guys, and this is going to be under the how to do or to do or how to video playlist that I'm making now. So, the deal is I got these hair extensions. Pick them up. Got these hair extensions from my local Sally's, and when I bought them, it said 100% hair, or human, well, the 100% human hair, and I was like, cool, so I went to go dye them, and in that process, I noticed that they aren't 100% human hair, and that they are blended with some synthetic strands, and so, as you can see, oh, my light. As you can see, it's just not all blue like my hair is all blue. And that's a problem for me. I haven't been able to wear them, which is upsetting because I wanted to wear them the day that I got them. I was going to. But I couldn't get them done. I haven't sewed them together or got the clips on yet because I still have to dye them. And, so I was kind of trying to figure out a way to dye them or color them without, they're synthetic, and there's no synthetic hair dye that you can buy at the store. It's just human hair dye. And so I figured out a way to dye the synthetic hair, and I'm going to share that with you guys now. But there are a few things that you need to get before you can do this. And most of these things you can get just around your own areas. They're not items that you can't find easily. So those would be 70% alcohol, rubbing alcohol, not the drinking kind. 70%. You probably shouldn't use anything higher than 70%. Because from what I've read, it doesn't work out too well. It's too powerful if it's anything more than 70% for it to actually work right. You need 70% alcohol. You need some gloves. I just got some regular kitchen gloves because I have salon style gloves, but they are not here. They're over at Jeremy's place because we usually do our hair over there. So I just got some kitchen gloves. These were like less than $2. Super cheap. And you need some ink, some acrylic ink. And you can get this, I got this at Michael's, and it was about $6. And this is Speedball ink. And I'm using like a Speedball recipe. You can use any acrylic ink, I'm pretty sure, with the alcohol like that, like those ingredients, and I'm pretty sure it works with almost any ink that is acrylic based. But if you're not using an acrylic based ink, I'm not sure if you use alcohol or if you just use water, or if you just use the ink by itself. I'm sure you would have to dilute it a little bit just to make it a little bit thinner and spread more. And I got 2 of these because I'm not sure. Online, some people needed more than just one because they had a lot of hair, and it doesn't look like a lot of hair, but these hair extensions are quite thick. There's about 8 rows here, and I think they look pretty thick. Or they're not, they don't look it, they are, like, they feel thick. So, you're gonna need those. I'll let you know at the end of the video if you only need to use 1 or 2, depending on how much hair you use. You're going to need a spray bottle of some sort. I have this spray bottle, and I had a spray bottle. This is a splat bottle that I rinsed out, and I used because this bottle is bigger than the bottle that came with this spray part. So I was like, but you should probably get something bigger than this so you don't have to keep mixing it. Like, I'm probably going to end up having to remix it over and over just to do all of the hair because it's a really small bottle. And that's all you're going to need for that. So those are all, I mean, very easy to find. You're also going to need a fine tooth comb, something, you know, like a teasing style comb or something like that. I don't have one currently because I just suck at life and I should really get one. So I'm just going to use a regular brush in this video, but you should probably use something that's finer so that you can get like in between each strain and make sure that everything is like completely soaked. So I will see you in the mixing process, my fellow friends. Fair warning, I'm sorry for the horrible lighting, and also I have a very expensive, high quality iPhone stand, and so don't judge me, but it's amazing, so I just thought you guys should know that that's what's going on here, and I just, you know, yeah, alright. Amazing backdrop, isn't it, right? There's so much effort put into that. It's so nice. So, alright, for the beginning of this mixing process, just want to let you guys know that the more alcohol you put in it to ink, then the lighter it will be, pretty much. And so if you want a light wig, if you want like something, if you have a white wig and you have like, or white hair extensions, and you want it to be like a light blue or whatever color you are trying to paint it or color it, then you need to put less alcohol, or no, more alcohol and less ink. If you want it darker, then you just put less alcohol in it and more ink. I'm just going to put more ink in it since this is a small bottle. It already, I mean, this is a very small amount of alcohol to be put into the mixture, so it wouldn't really take as much ink anyway. And you can pretty much see when you pour it in, you can kind of tell how dark it would be, how dark you want it after you mix it up. And the best thing to do when you mix it up is to take a testing strand of your hair or whatever you're going to do. If you have like, if you had trimmed a wig before, that's a lighter wig, or some hair extensions, take those. I have this testing, like this part of my hair extensions, which I was trying to test to see like what it would look like with some Sharpie in it and what it would look like. I kind of I wanted to see if I would be able to. They said with low heat you could straighten these, but my straightener is too high for it to straighten, so I kind of already mess these up with straightening it. You can kind of test it out by spraying part of it to see how it turns out. And if it doesn't turn out as dark as you want it, which I should probably put a little bit more in here. If it's not as dark as you want it, you could just put some more in there. And if it's not as light, you could obviously just put some more alcohol in it to make it lighter. Should be good. And since it's acrylic paint, you should make sure you shake up the, or not acrylic paint, acrylic ink. You should make sure you shake up the actual ink bottle itself before you use it. Which I shook them up earlier before, or when I was making the video, the other part of the video. So, And then you could just take it and test it again. It's a little bit darker than it was before. This looks about good. I also had already dyed these, and so all the human hair, I'm not sure how this is going to work out, which I doubt the ink will really do much to the human hair, other than just dye that more too. So since that looks like it's about good, then that means that mixture is good, and we can get started on doing the hair extension. Okay, so first things first, I just want to say that this is going to be so much easier for you guys to do if you do this in layers. So if you have your hair extensions and you just bought them and there's like no clips on them, and you know you had just cut them apart and you need to layer them up to have to sew them together. If you haven't done any of that yet, I would do this now before you do that, because it'll just make it easier to make sure that you get an even color throughout all of the hair. I'll put on these gloves real quick, some really tight gloves. The same with like a wig. If you had just gotten the wig, most wigs come in like in layers already. It's just the way wigs are made. And so if you just separate all the layers, you don't have to separate them all, but separate all the layers from the bottom layer, and then start from there. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that when you start on your first piece, you're going to want to make sure that whether you're holding it up when you do it, or it's on like a wig stand, that you had brushed it out and all the tangles are out of it. Some people prefer to like do their wigs and hair extensions up on stands, but I like to just do them down flat on something so I can actually move it around, just like look through the strands on my own without having to like, look at it while it's up. So you brush them out, and then you can just start. I start at the top and I work my way down. And it's going to take quite a bit to just make sure that you get it all. I like doing it this way because when it's hanging, like when the wig or the extension is hanging from something, the dye likes to run down to the ends and not really like to stay up in the top of the wig or the extension. And some people tie up the hair. If they like have it up on a wig stand, they tie up the hair. But I just find it easier to do this. And this can be a very fumey process, so it'd be smart to open up a window before you do this, which I didn't do, but I'm used to this, so it's not really a big deal to me at all. After you get the first one down, check it and make sure that it's all the strands are completely wet in it and soaked, because you don't want to miss anything, because once you wash it out, you'll still have that bright blonde and it'll still be noticeable. Usually I do this on a desk, so I'm not used to the bag being up in places and it running around. It's actually starting to run towards me a little bit. I wouldn't wear something that you would want to keep nice, because even though you're wearing gloves, it might end up running towards you, getting on you, spraying on you by accident, especially since you're using a bottle. And you just pretty much keep on going on with this process. Okay, after that, you're going to want to take whatever, you know, if you're letting them, if you want to let them air dry, you can let them air dry out. You could let them sit in whatever they're sitting in. If they're sitting in something soaking, you can let them sit. But no matter what you're doing, you should let them sit for probably either until they dry, or if you have them in something where they're going to stay wet, keeping them in something, keep them in there for like, I'd say from 30 to probably like 45 minutes should be good, since it's ink. I mean, it's going to soak up pretty quick on its own anyway. I just make sure that you try to get it all to soak up as much of the ink as you can. Because the more it soaks up, then hopefully, you know, the bluer it would be, or, you know, the color. Or if you want it to be like less, then you could wash it out sooner. That's pretty much up to you on how long you think it needs to sit for the color that you want it to be. So I'm back, and the process, what you want to do after you let them sit, my hands are blue, and that's because I've already washed mine out, but after you let them sit and soak up or dry, whichever process you are using, and you go to wash them out, what you're going to want to do is, instead of using hot water, or instead of even using warm water, what I figured out is it's a lot better to just use cold water, because you're supposed to use cold water on extensions anyway, most extensions, depending on what kind they are. So since these are blended, I used cold water, it pretty much is because the hotter the water you use, the more of it that you pull out of the hair. And you're not going to want to do that if you have the color you want it. Like, if it is the color you want it and you want it to stay that color, you're going to want to use colder water. If it did turn out some kind of color that you didn't want it to turn out, the removing process is pretty much not going to happen, since it's synthetic hair and it already took the color. If you want it darker than it is, then you will be able to make it darker, but you can't really make it much lighter or change the color. If you don't like the color, you can really only make it darker. If you also, I guess if it is a pretty light color and you want it, you want to try to get more of the ink out of it so you can make it a different color, I figure using Dawn dish soap will pull out a lot of the color if you use really warm or hot water. You could possibly even boil the synthetic hair if it's just synthetic hair, or I guess if it's anything else, you could boil it too. Get more, pull more of the color out of it. So after you wash them out, I found out that this actually worked out a lot better than I planned it working out. You saw the way that they looked at the beginning of the video, with the color, like the blonde still in it. This technique worked so much better than I thought it would. If you look at them now, there's the white that you see is literally just from my lighting. There's no more white left in it. There's dark blue from the real human hair that took to the other dye. It was darker. And then the lighter blue that's in it it actually kind of, it accents it more. My hair is all pretty much one color, but there are some spots, right here, as you can see, there's some spots that are a little bit lighter up there and up at the top too. And that's pretty much what this turned out to be, is some of the strands are darker like this, and then some of the strands are a little bit lighter. And even though I don't have that much light, lighter hair, I'm probably going to go over these again after I cut them and trim them. I'm probably going to dye them again. make the synthetic hair just a tidbit darker, so that way it matches up a little bit more even to my hair. But I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I think that the ink that I used was perfect. It took to the synthetic hair so well. I really did not plan on it. Like, I thought I was gonna have to put way much more effort into this, but I'm like not having to put effort into this, and it's making me so happy right now. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Because I seriously had already dyed these twice. I dyed them with normal hair color, and then that's when I realized that they had synthetic in them. And then I went and I got fabric dye, because I saw online that you could use fabric dye, and that did not work at all. All it did was dye the natural hair even more darker, which kind of freaked me out because it was a little bit darker than my hair, but the lightness that the ink that I just used added onto the hair extensions actually made it kind of blend in better, like it evened out the tone. And my hands are super blue, so when you wash out the ink, make sure that you put the gloves back on, because I was just stupid and I took my hair extensions with the ink. I just took them from the bottom to the top. Before I even rinsed them out, I just squeezed out all the ink out of it just to get the initial ink out. And another thing, a tip possibly if you are into saving money, I'm not sure where I put the bottle. I think I put it somewhere not around me, but I took with the way I do my hair extensions, laying them down, I lay them down on a plastic bag, usually a garbage bag, and it holds all the ink in it. If you like cup it and you take the hair extensions out, rinse them or wring them out over the bag. I just took the bag, I took an empty Gatorade bottle, clean empty Gatorade bottle, and I just poured all of the leftover ink back into that bottle, and then I closed it and sealed it up with some tape. And I'm going to use that again for any other synthetic hair that I get, or possibly if I want to make this, if I decide to make this a little bit darker, I don't have to go and make a complete new batch of some dye for it. So, with all those being said in this video, I think it's time to close that one out. I hope that it was helpful to you guys. I am like happy that this turned out the way it did, and I hope you guys find this useful. If you guys try any other colors like pink, purple, some other random colors, you guys should comment and let me know how it turns out for your wig, or hair extensions, whatever you're dyeing. Let me know how the different colors work out for you. If you try some different ink, let me know how the ink turns out, because that would be helpful for me in the future if I ever decided to dye my hair a different color or use some different ink. That's it. I love you guys. Wow. See you guys later.